And then there's Main Street America. So do you side on the side of Armageddon or Main Street America? Hey, Dirk, maybe this isn't Armageddon, but if we don't do something now, we are going to continue to become less and less relevant, like Main Street America over time. Still another might say, Dirk, we don't need to totally reimagine the partnerships. Even the title of your research project is wrong. We don't need to totally reimagine. A refreshment of our approach would be a better way to put it. Okay, if that's what you believe, cool. Drive the actions around that. Still another says, Dirk, it's not coming as fast as the media tries to say it is. If you don't have the latest and greatest Granger-type web store, you're not going to be out of business next week. So again, from the research, just everybody is of belief that there is a need to reimagine partnerships, but is it Armageddon or is it more like Main Street America? That's something that you and your team are going to have to explore. We need to be asking, what do we need to be doing differently to build for tomorrow? Let's take a look at the numbers again. Let's take a look at the numbers. Guys, there's a lot of data here I'm going to give you here in just a moment, so I need to tell you. What we're going to explore are two main thought processes. Do we have the mindset to reimagine partnerships? Okay, you with me there? Number one, do we have the mindset? And number two, do we have the tools and strategies to reimagine partnerships? It's two different, right? Do we have the mindset, number one? Do we have the tools and strategies to reimagine partnerships? We've drilled down on those. That's what I'm going to show you here. The first way we're going to look at that is from the distributor's perspective. We're going to look at what we learned about distributors' mindset and distributor strategies, both from the distributor's point of view and manufacturer's point of view, and then we'll flip it, all right? So stick with me here. If there's questions, just let me know. All right, here we go. So we asked, do you agree that distributors embrace a mindset and a culture? Not the strategies, not the tools, but do you agree that distributors have the mindset and the culture of creating collaborative partnerships with manufacturers? Right? All right. 66% in the business believe that distributors really want and have developed a culture of partnering. The way that breaks down is 78% of distributors believe we want to do that, more or less from manufacturers, right? 59% of manufacturers agree. So what does that tell us? It says if you're a distributor in this room, 41% of your partners really, when they look at you, don't believe that you want to what? Really collaborate and work together for the good of both. Close to half. Going in, close to half of your partners don't believe you really want to partner. So 41% of manufacturers don't believe distributors have the mindset. Here are some of the things we heard. Dirk, this is the manufacturer talking. Dirk, the distributors, typically view us manufacturers as vendors rather than partners. Still another said, Dirk, distributors have not demonstrated the spirit of partnership. It's been about what can we as manufacturers do for them, period, end of story. Still another manufacturer says, Dirk, there isn't an underlying culture of mutual partnership. Distribution continues to battle, not partner, continues to battle manufacturers to gain increasing shares of our margins while offering little in increased benefits. 41%. But let's not forget, the majority, 59%, really do believe you want to partner. Everybody with me? Have that culture. Here's what they said. Those who do believe, Dirk, we are seeing a concerted effort to align with us to better support our planning and execution. Dirk, the trend seems to be going toward more of a partnership between distributor and manufacturers. Both are looking to align with more exclusive agreements for growth and stronger partnerships. And I think most distributors want a long-term partner, someone they can trust and someone with whom they can mutually do business together. All right? So close to half don't believe. That means a little more than half believe that you do. We need to understand that going in. Now, how about our ability? If that's the mindset, how about the distributor's ability? Assuming they have the mindset and the culture, do they have the ability, the structure, the tools, the processes, the systems to truly partner? 52% think that we have the ability to partner. Only 52%. 65% of distributors, and look at this, 42% of your manufacturers don't believe you have the systems, the processes, the commitment in place to truly partner. So what did these 42% who agree that manufacturers, 58% don't believe we have the systems in place? So what did these 58% say? What's their thinking? Dirk, it can be difficult for distributors to have strategic plans with 50 to 100 manufacturers they represent. Just the structure itself doesn't allow for it. There are few and far between distributors that truly partner. And Dirk, I think both distributor and manufacturer struggle with implementing any sort of strategy because we are all so busy trying to do more with less and handle the day-to-day business. Okay, guys? So there's the distributors, right? Do we have the mindset and do we have the tools and processes in place? Does that make sense? Okay, now let's flip it. And let's ask, do the manufacturers have the mindset? All right, here's what we found. 72% agree that manufacturers embrace a mindset and a culture to partner. 63% of distributors, 77% of manufacturers. There's that 14% gap. All right, so 63% of distributors agree. That means 37% do not believe, 37% of distributors do not believe manufacturers embrace the culture and the mindset. Here's what these 37% said. They said, Dirk, there are very few manufacturers that are truly committed to their distributors. They want and need volume and go to market with too many channels, too many distributors. Distributors can't commit back to them until there is a mutual strategy. Another said, Dirk, in most cases, distributors made many manufacturers who they are. But with big box retailers and direct-to-contractor marketing using new technologies, the distributors have been left out of the picture. And we are often the necessary evil, the distributor is saying. 63% of distributors agree that manufacturers embrace, so let's not forget that, right? The majority. Here's what we heard distributors who believe manufacturers do. Manufacturers today want and need these types of relationships to work. They desire to have a strong market share just as the distributors do. I believe manufacturers understand the value of partnerships with distributors. I would say most manufacturers embrace this mindset. We do business with vendors who only sell through the established distribution channel. Others need not apply. All right? And then the ability to implement. Beyond the mindset, here's the ability. 67% believe that manufacturers have the ability, the processes. 56%, 19% gap. So 56% agree. 44% of distributors do not believe that you as the manufacturers have the ability to really partner. They will jump in any sandbox and play any given day. They do not maintain consistent personnel. We heard this over and over and over. In order to accomplish this, they frequently change their goals and plans. There always seems to be other agendas, and creating deep collaborative partnerships is not one of them. So guys, I have just thrown a ton of information at you, okay? Would you do me a favor? I need to take about 30 seconds. Will you guys just stop and pause for a second? And why don't you, on this sheet of paper, just make a note to yourself. Is there 1, 2, or 3 things going through your mind right now? Capture the thoughts going through your mind and write down 1, 2, or 3 key thoughts, key points to yourself. I'll give you 30 seconds to do it. Go ahead and make a note or 2 or 3 to yourself. Okay, guys? All right, let me interrupt, please, if you don't mind. Would anybody mind? I'm just curious. We got about 30 minutes left. I got a ton more to go through, but I'm just curious. What's going through anybody's mind? Would anybody mind sharing a key thought that you had written down? Anybody comfortable doing that? Just one key thought, sir?
Well, I'd say obviously we need to do a better job of selecting and promoting our vendor partnerships. And I think from our top levels, the executives of the company, we do well with that. But I feel that
once it gets
salesperson level, it's not. They're thinking lines of what you're talking about.
It gets diluted.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you. Anybody else?
Manufacturers have to find the best path to sell their stuff. But we have to, distributors have to be innovative enough to make sure that we're going to continue to be
That
at least
best
one of those paths, and maybe not the only path.
Well said. Thank you.
Appreciate that. Very cool. Thanks. All right, good. I'm really glad some things are sticking. Let's continue to roll on. I'll probably ask you to do that at least one more time. So let me give you a framework that came out of this to discuss these findings that we've talked about so far, both internally and with your partners, right? I think this is a framework that you guys internally, you can get your leadership team in the boardroom around a table, and you can use this just as one framework to really begin the conversation, okay? So here's what this one framework looks like. It says, all right, remember the questions we just went through, right? Do the distributors, do the manufacturers have the mindset and the culture, right? That was one of the things we looked at, to truly reimagine the partnership. And we could put that on a scale. Over here on the left side, we can say, you know, these individuals, distributors and manufacturers over here, they don't have the mindset. And then over on the right-hand side, we could put those organizations, individuals, that we believe do have the mindset. Okay, so then we said also, not just the mindset, but then we also said, what about the strategies? Do we have the strategies and tools and processes and systems and commitment in place for these types of partnerships? Again, down on the bottom, there's no strategies. And up on the top, we have very well strategies defined. So here's the framework, right? Again, internally, you can sit down, you can look at yourselves, you can look at your partners, and just ask where we think our partners and ourselves reside. If we have no strategies, and if we don't have the culture, look, that's okay. There's going to be some transactional business that's going to happen out there in the marketplace. That's going to drive certain strategies, certain positioning, certain partnerships, if you will. But you can place yourselves or your partners over there. If we have the mindset, and the culture, but no strategies, all right, cool. Let's acknowledge that and say where we really need to work on is building the processes, building the systems to make it all happen. Does that make sense? Okay, and then the top left-hand corner are, you know, we don't have the mindset. We've really got strategies. This is where we need to address the cultural issues. This is where we need to address the cultural issues in our organization or our partners' organizations or both. And obviously, when we have the mindset and we have the processes in place, this is where that deep, collaborative, win-win type partnerships can take place. So again, you can utilize that both internally and externally.